Alright, right now we're going to be discussing freelancer freedom, the ultimate guide to landing your first client. I'm Coach Jethro, and today this is going to be based on my experience. And let's start first with number one. Start with uh, I'm going to put here. It's number one. You gotta start with what you know. So most of the time we say that we gotta start once we have the camera. We gotta start once we have the equipment. We gotta start once we have the software, once we have the money, once we have this and that. But sometimes we focus on what we lack and we fail to realize what are the things that we have, which is our resources. Start with what you know. Start with what you have. If you have an excuse where I don't know this and that, so therefore I will start on the specific day, sometimes not even specific, but you say sooner, one day. So it's really vague. The more you are vague with your goals, the more it's more likely not to happen. And let me give you a story, just like really quick one. I started to know, for example, that I'm a very young man with we have no money, still living with my parents. But the good thing here, if I still live with my parents, it means that I have free electricity, free water, and free TV, free resources, free food. Compared to a man who's already grown up and just starting out and pays everything, every expense that he has, especially if he has kids and his wife. So basically, you have a great advantage because you also have great time the younger that you are. But no matter what age that you have, this is an example. If you're young, it's not an excuse, it's actually an advantage. But if you're also old, it is also not a disadvantage because you have a lot of money to leverage. You can pay people, you can do this, you can outsource this, and you already have a lot of work experience, even if it's not related to freelancing. Start with what you know. Starting with what you know, it gives you a sense of control and really motivates you to start even though it's not perfect, because the more we make mistakes, the more we get to start somewhere. At least we started somewhere, which brings us to number two: leverage your network. If you have networks that will specifically give you clients, that is already an instant client where you don't have to have an effort to find one client to another. Okay, because if you reach out to someone, you have a power to train your skills. You have the power to build your portfolio even if you just work for free. Someone that you can help, someone that you can bring value. So let's say you're a beginner and you're just starting out and you want to build your portfolio, which is 80% of your result. The client will decide based on your portfolio, and you have no videos, you have no outputs, and you want to edit for someone. Someone, your friend who own a business or a coach. Then you exchange for experience, and then you get client testimonial from this person. Once you also have a portfolio, and then you can then start finding people that can pay you and also give you client testimonial with your quality output. So it goes hand in hand, which brings us to number two, which is very important, as I mentioned it already, which is three: to build what? Your house? No. You gotta build your portfolio. Okay? So this is actually the 80% responsible for all of your marketing efforts. The client will look at your portfolio, not your resume, because your resume is just a bunch of lists. But they want to see what is the output or the result that you have given. Because the resume just talks about who you are, where do you study, and what you experience, how many years, but they don't care much about that. They care about the value and the result that you're going to be provided, because they're going to use this type of tool, which is money. They're going to give out money, and why would they give out money? Why would they burn it up? They rather burn it up with something that will produce a result. So you got to think about that. You always have to think at your client's shoe, even if it's stinky, but you have to develop that skill. Okay? And then number four is like very important if you really want to have a success in life, especially in landing your first line. It's not leverage never, of course, but rather to take imperfect action. When you take imperfect actions, it's rather you are acknowledging yourself that you are a limited person. You're a person who takes action, but you also acknowledge that you're imperfect. When you're imperfect, there's actually a thing where we say that there's a room for improvement and there's a room for growth. The word perfection is very deadly because you always attach to a specific outcome, and the result is the end result, and there's no room for growth and improvement. And you're actually putting yourself in much more anxiety, unnecessary pressure, and stress, which leads you to be paralyzed from taking action in the first place, and making mistake as a milestone for success. So that's one of the things that you have to work on, is you have to take this mindset that you take imperfect action. Those imperfect action will lead you to result, because in order to have result, you must always have action. It's not always about the thought. It's not always about your feelings or your words, but rather transmuting those words, feelings, and action and thoughts into action, so that you can create specific or build a specific habit, or achieve a specific outcome, or learn from those mistakes if you didn't achieve those outcomes. Which brings us to the last point, which is focus on building relationship, right? Which is number 5. Most of the time, we don't know how can we build relationship with our clients, because we don't have the specific skills with them. So this is very important, especially if I have a client. I would do this also. Most of us see clients, and then once they quit on us, they work for 1 month, 3 months, and they leave. Maybe it's because there's such thing as you have a problem with your networking skill, building relationship skill with your client, or you fail to give loyalty, incentives. Okay? So mostly a client would be stay with you for 3 to 12 months. That's an average. If you can let that client stay with you for 5 years, you could be saving your life, finding more clients, more clients, and more clients, because more clients leave and leave and leave. The way to have a good client that will really pays you well is to get to know them well, and you build trust, you build relationship, and they refer you to more clients. So that really is a sustainable strategy compared to just finding a client, doing the work without relationship or building trust, and then you find another client, you find another client, find another client, and you waste effort, and you waste time, and you waste revenue. So that's really impractical. That's why you have to focus on building relationship, like as a real person, like a real relationship. And I'm saying you gotta turn them to your boyfriends, girlfriends, but it's something that you want to build relationship as a real person, as your friend, but not necessarily as family. You have to really know and define your boundaries when building a relationship. What makes a good and healthy relationship? We can always ask ChatGPT for that. But the thing here is, building and sustaining relationship will be more sustainable to your revenue, to your growth, and to your skills and building relationship. So in summary, if you want to land your first client as freelancer, you must start with your what you know, not only what you have, but what you know, so that you can start to leverage also your network. If you don't have, you gotta find it. You gotta find it in Facebook groups, find strangers, coaches, small business owners. Then you gotta build your portfolio, of course, as you work with them for free, or you gotta build your brand and then build your portfolio. And then we gotta take imperfect action so that you can start making mistake and then achieve that specific outcome. Then once you have the client, you have to focus on your own relationship.